All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Kingston Police Commission to order. Today is September 27th, 2023, and we have a quorum. And I also want to just take a moment to welcome our new commissioner, Commissioner Tony Davis. Welcome, Commissioner. We're happy to have you on board. Thanks for agreeing to do this. So we we don't, I think, have any public comments that have been pre-submitted anyway, but and we don't have anyone here from the public at this moment. But at this point, what we'll do is we'll do approval of the minutes from our last meeting. So can I have a motion to approve our video minutes from our last meeting? Thank you, Commissioner Davis. That's the second. So, Commissioner Mapes, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Communications. Brad, have you gotten any?
No,
Yes. It's been quiet. I don't know, Chief, if you've got a couple. Yep.
Yeah, I got one from Tom Pope from the YMCA for having our officers lead the tour to Kingston. He was the bike ride this year. 177 riders took part. He loved the fact that the officers were on the bike and traffic went smoothly. And Will's like working on it. So the second one was commendation, I guess it would be for the three officers that it worked out to be Leanna, Ben Wassenhove, Dan Dobrinsky, and Tom. And I gotta tell you, they did a great job. They helped de-escalate a situation where a woman was intoxicated and about to get into a car, and it looked like they were able to maneuver around that and worked out pretty good. So, but yeah, those are the two that I received.
We did get an email from the commission too, I think, thanking, it was an officer that had helped someone with a car issue, so. I know we haven't met in a while, so.
Maybe it's a while back.
Yeah,
Was it RCL? Was that the one?
maybe, yeah, he actually wasn't somebody, I forget, there was somebody had a car issue and he was able to help the person get the car started. But it was,
That was RCL.
wasn't a complaint, it was.
Yeah, that's good.
I think we've seen them all been good, you know, thank yous from the community.
Great. All right, well, we'll find it on the record. So now we're time for a report of the chief.
We have, we received a grant, although we haven't accepted it yet, for a new live scan device from the state. We just got notified that we're eligible to put in for some tech equipment.
Do you want to explain what a live scan is?
I'm sorry, yes. Live scan is a device that we use to interface fingerprints to our records management system. So essentially, when someone comes in for either an arrest or some other fingerprint charge, this device is essentially a copy machine that the officer rolls the fingerprints on and then automatically transfer them digitally up there and they get sent up to the state. Producing, in the old days when we started, we had ink. They actually rolled ink on there and rolled prints. And so we've had live scan for quite a few years. It's been due for an upgrade. And the state just approved a number of agencies in the state, including ours, receiving the live scan. So we'll be working with IT, make sure Kyle's on board with it so it interfaces properly. The device will be a little bit smaller, more compact, a little bit easier to use. And in addition, I got notified yesterday that the state is approving the tech grant, millions of dollars in tech for jurisdictions that can be essentially put towards any type of license plate readers, surveillance cameras that we have, drones, live scan if you didn't get through the original grant, records management system. So we'll be sitting down at some point kind of working through that. All positive. I was up at the symposium yesterday and today, had a day up there, and they're tracked. The number of classes that they're offering is unbelievable. I think last count was 1,100 law enforcement personnel are up there. It's packed. And I was very proud to see Mike Bonds, former deputy chief here up there, giving the opening remarks. And then today they had Commissioner Rosada come up and she spoke as well. So very nicely put together. So.
Great. All right. In terms of unfinished business, I don't think we have any. In terms of new business, I think just a couple of things to add to kind of the chief's report. One of the things that we've also and I think we may have mentioned it, but I don't know if we did since our last meeting. Due to some opioid settlement funds that have come to the city, from, the state of New York, many jurisdictions are receiving, a pot of funds for, I think, the next 16 years. It's definitely the longest grant we've ever received. But we're gonna get somewhere in the mid-60s, I think 65, 66, $67,000 a year, every year for the next 16 or so years, to be able to help with, opioid prevention, and addiction issues. And so what we're gonna be doing with that is, as you all may remember, a few years ago, we partnered with the sheriff's office on, a task force called AVERT. It's also kind of part of Oracle, which is their opioid addiction program that they have. And so we're going to be working collaboratively with the sheriff's office. We're going to have one of our officers partnering with one of their peer counselors, and they're going to be working in Kingston to be able to help make sure people are getting the outreach that they need when overdoses occur, and also doing preventative work, in partnership with our mobile mental health team and all of our other resources that we have. So it's going to be basically used to support a lot of overtime for that work to occur.
16 years.
Yeah, it's a very long grant, and it's there's a lot of paperwork, and I know that Ray, or Lieutenant Guzewski, has been helping to pick up the paperwork piece of all of this, and work with the state. It's coming through the state's OASIS is the name of the state division.
So that trip to Hawaii might be.
Yeah. No training in Hawaii.
I think there's a conference in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also this summer, and I think you may have seen some press that we put out about it, but we did get our new set of 10 bikes, as well as 2 pedal assist electric bikes, and they're all out and have been. I think almost a third or more of all of our staff are trained.
Yes, most of the patrol divisions.
Yeah, I think all of the patrol
Yeah, I
divisions.
think we have 8 left to do that want to do it, so. And I have to tell you, Mayor, and I know this is official public record, but at this point, those pedal assist bikes have spoiled the officers. They're requesting no more regular bikes. Especially the older officers, they say making the hill up 8 times.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is keep those pedals going and it pulls you right up there, so, very nice. They've been spec'd out by LAPD, they're designed for police work. They use, I think 48-volt batteries on these things, and they're just awesome. Very comfortable to use, heavy, but very comfortable to use. And pedal assist is the way to go.
But for all of our officers who want to get exercise, the other 10 bikes are available.
The junior officers get those.
Yeah, and they've been working out really well at a lot of our special events. They've been patrolling the rail trails, and really they've helped with a lot of the parades that we've had. They really work well. Crowd control issues during, these larger mass events like the Uli and the upcoming Italian festival, No Positive, and things like that. So I think they've been really well received.
Yes, very much so.
And it's great for our community policing efforts to be able to get out in the community and really be able to, you can have much better conversations with people when you're on a bike than in a car. And so that's our goal.
Yeah, the bike's nice because it puts them right there versus the car that has to stay on the outskirts of it, so it makes a lot of sense.
And then I think that wraps up at least my kind of additional items to your report. For executive session today, we do have a review of complaints and we use of force reviews. We are going through the budget process right now. I'm finishing up my budget for the common council, which is due in a couple of weeks. And as we go into next year, I think we talked a little bit about some of the staffing issues at previous meetings, but we are, going through a couple of different tests right now. So you want to talk a little about the kind of at least where
Yeah.
we are?
Yeah. So we have a number of vacancies that we're looking to fill. There's 2 lists that are applicable to us. One of them is available to us right now, and that's the state list. So the state of New York held a police exam that people signed up for. Since we have our own exam, we have to exhaust that list first, which we've done. There's no one left on that list to choose from. So our civil service department has essentially now canvassed, I believe she said there's about 180 people in the county area, Hudson Valley area that could apply for Kingston. We're waiting on that canvas to come back to determine who's eligible and who's interested. In addition, we held the police exam in the first week of September on that Saturday, and we're waiting the results on that as well. So we are putting it out there about laterals to see if anyone's interested in doing a lateral from a different agency. We may have one interested. I'm working with that person now to go through some background stuff. But we're looking to fill the vacancies as soon as possible, whether it's through the state list, hopefully the local list will come back soon. But we just held it in September, realistically, that's probably October, November timeframe. And then the lateral as well.
And I think in the end, 19 sat for the exam.
Correct, yeah, 19 were eligible. We started with 34 signed up and 28 showed up for the PT test, and I believe 19 passed it. So we only had 19 eligible to sit for the exam. Again, I was looking at that symposium, it's all over. They're struggling everywhere. Every agency, Rochester was talking about it a little bit about it today. It's hard. There's no, whether it's interest or the pool of candidates. I mean, I believe the state police just announced that their cutoff is coming up soon, but they just broke 10,000 people to sign up for a statewide exam. 10,000 people for the entire state. It's normally to fill an academy, they have to go through about 2,000 candidates. So it's not really a good list, they used to have the upper 30s at one point. So it's a struggle like all over the place. And, that's why this symposium, many of the tracks in there is designed to try to help with recruitment, retention, and discussions of that nature. But it's a struggle everywhere. Nobody really has the answers for it. There's a bunch of factors, obviously, but we'll do what we can in Kingston. They're talking about having programs at a much younger age, start effectively in a school and try to build, not so much for police, but for community interaction. That a lot of the issue now is that they're not community-minded kids anymore. They're not volunteer firefighters or volunteer ambulance or volunteer anything. Everything's all about that. But we'll see. Hopefully we'll have some answers and a lot of discussion.
Anyone have any questions for the chief before we go into executive session?
No, before we go in, the chief was correct. It was Jeremy Arciello, husband and wife came out from Salt Point, came out of UPAC, and the lights weren't working on the car. Jeremy and his partner diagnosed whatever the issue was and got the lights working, they got on the road.
Perfect.
So, good. Correct.
Anybody else have any questions for the chief? All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to entertain a motion to go into executive session to review any complaints that we received over the summer, as well as use of force reviews from over the summer.
So,
Thank you, Commissioner Jordan. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Mapes. I think I saw a finger there. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. All right, coming out of executive session, can I have a motion to exit executive session? Thank you, Commissioner Mapes. Do I have a second? Commissioner Davis, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. So we reviewed our use of force for the summer and everything was good. And in terms of complaints, I think we had 2 that we reviewed, and I think we have a motion for those. Would someone like to make that motion?
I make a motion that the complaint 1 was unfounded, and the second complaint, the officer acted inappropriately.
Okay.
I would just like to bid for the second complaint that I have to state myself.
Okay, thank you. So I have a motion. Do I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Mapes. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. So that's it for our business tonight. Does anyone have anything else? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. All right, Commissioner Mapes, do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Bowden. All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you all very much.